Good evening, my friends. Matt Conley, Innovation and Transformation Office over here at Spangdahlem Air Base in Germany. And it's about close to 10 o'clock at night. Just got home from work. Been working late like crazy over the last couple of weeks, but no worries. We're going to power through and do some homework. That being said, today's homework's a little easier than typing some stuff because we can make a video. So that's what we're going to do right now. The subject tonight is going to be the topics to avoid, pitfalls to avoid. We got a couple of questions. We're going to do our best to answer off the cuff. And I say we, but it's a royal we, right? So the first question that we want to answer is going to be, what steps might we take to prevent being biased as we interview? Please explain. And I don't like this question, and the reason why is because we cannot get rid of bias. End of story. I have never read a psychological book that says human beings are not biased. That is simply not true. We are biased. End of story. People who claim not to be biased, wrong. Completely wrong. Everyone's biased, everyone's racist, all this other stuff. We all have these little predispositions within us. And we can, however, account for the most pernicious effects. Okay, we can account for these most pernicious effects and adjust by thinking a little bit slowly. And where am I getting this information from? Where am I getting these claims from? I read a book, completely changed my mind. It was Malcolm Gladwell's Blink. And in the Blink, now a little bit about the author, he's half African American. His mom is Jamaican. His dad was white or reverse, if I remember correctly. At any rate, this psychologist, what he ends up doing is he writes about a study that was done in Chicago where they had average-looking individuals from different ethnic groups go around to car dealerships, and they would gauge how the car dealerships would treat these average individuals. And as it turned out, the individuals in that area, the African Americans in that study, fared the poorest with the lowest good deal, I guess you can say, and then the whites of the group had the best deal within that study. And then subsequently, they also did a study on unconscious bias. This completely changed my mind about unconscious bias too. And they talked about reaction times when taking tests. And it says that even African Americans, when they take this test, they react slower with other African Americans on the test thing itself. And it's roughly in the middle of the thing. I highly recommend if you go read it. It's really awesome. But how it opens the mind is that there are things that affect us that are beyond our ability to calculate. Like we don't even know how they get there. And that's another side obsession of mine, which is complexity theory at the moment. I'm very obsessed about complexity because I feel that it plays into innovation management very well. And my goal is a doctor's degree in innovation management. I absolutely love this stuff. But at any rate, I do not think that we can prevent bias. We can, however, account for its effects. And we can do this through all sorts of things. We can redact names, do our best to equalize the questions, focus, judge, have numbers at the top rather than names, not include pictures, mask a voice somehow if we have a voice interview with them. And legitimately, we only focus on what they bring to the table. That's it. Moving forward, next question is, how can we ensure that we get the information we need to make a fair decision? That's a really good question. Again, equalizing the questions across a broad, diverse range of candidates. When I say diverse in this case, I mean diversity of thought, diversity of background in terms of, what is their job experience, where they coming from, this sort of stuff. So it doesn't have to mean strictly from an ethnic point of view. It can also mean from a wide variety of backgrounds, whatever category of background that is, as a matter of fact. And this was talked about in a book called Team of Teams by General Stanley McChristal, where he talked about how we as human beings tend to be very tribal. And so as a result, we stick around with people who are our own. And the only way to really foster the bonds of teamwork is that we have to go and then be in the Gemba somewhere else. We have to go with another, like implant ourselves with teams, which is the whole concept of a liaison, as a matter of fact. So the military, the way in modern day military uses liaison is more so as to create a team of teams. And that was the whole premise of the book. It was an excellent book in that regard. Highly recommend that you read it, by the way. I'm just about done. I'm almost finished that book. That's the book I'm reading right now. It talks about complexity theory too. Top-notch book. All right, so that's fair decision. Next one is, what legal issues might we need to work at avoiding? So in this case, legal issues we want to work at avoiding is we do not want to do, I guess it is, have any messed up on my words there. We don't want to disturb any of those protected categories. So in whatever country that we're in whatever jurisdiction that we're in, whatever the protected category of thing is, then we want to respect that as much as possible. And if we are being relativistic, then, you know, whatever country you're in, just if you don't like their rules about it, move out to another country that does have the rules that you like. Boom, there you go. Problem solved. Legal issues, this is probably in the context of hiring, of course. So legal issues may want to avoid. Favoritism, gosh, I don't know. Any kinds of, you know, the job interview is not a good time to do any dating. You know, look for potential partners or anything like that. That's actually happened to a friend of mine, believe it or not, which is why I bring it up. Let's see here. No, I suppose that's it. I mean, so long as we don't don't disturb those major categories within the law, you know. Yeah, I think most of us know what's going on as far as that stuff goes. Yes, civil rights would be civil rights, and then protected categories. We got to learn about those protected categories, right? What is it? Age, gender, race, creed, religion, all that other good stuff. Yeah, sex. Yeah, I remember we had the list a few classes ago. And in any normal world, if we need it, go look it up, and then that's what we got. All right, my friends, I will end this. It's already 7 minutes long, so I apologize about that, or close to 8 minutes long. So I'll just end this with a couple of book recommendations for all of us. So the 3 books that I did mention: Malcolm Gladwell's Blink, and then Stanley McChristal's Team of Teams. Really awesome ones. Actually, I think I mentioned only 2 books. And so I will follow up with a really good book on rationality as a concept. The book is called Rationality. It's by Dr. Steven Pinker, and it talks about all sorts of ways the brain works, to include things like bias, and to include things like when we say assumption, what exactly does that mean? Top-notch book if you are into business psychology. Let's see, is there any books I got over here? Oh yeah. For those of us who want to be absolutely excellent at things, a really good book. Also, derivative work of Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers. That's another book that he had. It's called So Good They Can't Ignore You by Cal Newport. And that is a book that teaches us exactly what it takes to be one of the best individuals in our field. It's really top notch. All right, my friends, that's close to 9 minutes. I'm going to get off my soapbox. I wish you a good rest of your night. You guys got any feedback for me? Please go ahead and leave that below. And then my question to you, if you've actually made it this far, kudos to you if you did. My question to you is, so what do you think about hiring friends? What do you think about hiring friends? Is it ethical? Is it moral? Is it a good idea? Leave your comments down below.